to understand Pope Francis, you have to understand the Jesuits.
Father Jeremy J. Crowley, 1861 to 1927, American ex-Catholic priest. All through the Middle Ages and the Renaissance period, the popes kept Italy in turmoil and bloodshed for their own family and territorial advantages, and they kept all Europe in turmoil for 2 centuries after the Reformation, in fact, just as long as they could in the wars of religion. Their whole policy is based on stirring up hatred and promoting conflicts from which they hope to draw worldly advantage. Popes and their Jesuitical agents have been and are the instigators of wars. And while the world is having real pain, Rome is having champagne.
While the world is having real pain, Rome is having champagne. What a statement. Friends, we're going to do a reaction video today to this particular video here. This is worldlastchance.com. This is their YouTube channel here. This video has been on my list for years, by the way, and I actually lost sight of it. And thank God for Matthew Sanche, who found the video, and I'm like, there's the video I've been looking for. So I was able to look it up, and there it was. This is an hour and an hour-long video. So there's no way we're going to do an hour talking about this matter. I did a video recently about Alex Jones and the Jesuits and everything like that. A lot of views in the comments, supporters of Alex Jones, you told me Alex Jones had spoken about the Jesuits before. Okay, I didn't know about that. I stand corrected. Could you send me those videos? Could you send me the videos where he actually done that? I would like to highlight those videos and give them credit. I haven't found them, but if you could, please send them to me to back that up. But anyway, much more could be said. We're going to get right into this thing. Friends, this is a tough video to get through. I'm going to be honest with you because some of the stuff you're going to hear today is going to disturb your spirit. But remember now, this is truth. Truth is not always convenient. We have to listen to it even when it hurts. For those of you who watch this channel, you already know some of this stuff. But it's good to hear it in words, being called out, spelled out over and over again. And I think especially in today's culture, in today's politics in America, we seem to forget the purpose of what the Jesuits stand for. And let this be a reminder. Let's get to it.
The recent election of Cardinal Giorgia Bergoglio to the position of Pope Francis I was an unprecedented event the world has never before witnessed. It is the first time in history that a member of the Jesuit Order has been elected to the highest position of the Roman Catholic Church. Reactions worldwide varied from jubilation to matter-of-fact acceptance to disinterest. These very reactions reveal appalling ignorance of the true nature of the Jesuit Order. Widely regarded as a benevolent missionary order, known for its educational institutions, the Jesuit Order, as the Society of Jesus is commonly known, has long played an incredibly influential, albeit secretive, role in the destinies of nations, organizations, and individuals. Rulers, presidents, scholars, and even Catholics themselves, who are aware of the evil perpetrated by this powerful, far-reaching order, have left on record grave warnings that all should heed. Following is a compilation of quotes from a variety of sources. Some admit that their own diabolical organizations were modeled on Jesuit principles. Others give warning. A number of those who sought to warn did so at the cost of their lives. World's Last Chance would encourage all to carefully study the following material. Proverbs 1:5 tells us, "A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels." Ignatius Loyola, 1491 to 1556, founder of the Society of Jesus and its first superior general. Nor will it contribute a little to our advantage if with caution and secrecy we foment and heighten the animosities that arise among princes and great men, even to such a degree that they may weaken each other. But if there appear any likelihood of reconciliation, then as soon as possible let us endeavor to be the mediators, lest others prevent us. Finally, let all with such artfulness gain the ascendant over princes, noblemen, and the magistrates of every place, that they may be ready at our beck, even to sacrifice their nearest relations and most intimate friends, when we say it is for our interest and advantage. Let proper methods be used to get knowledge of the animosities that arise among great men, that we may have a finger in reconciling their differences. For by this means we shall gradually become acquainted with their friends and secret affairs, and of necessity engage one of the parties in our interests. Immediately upon the death of any person of post, let them take timely care to get some friend of our society preferred in his room. But this must be cloaked with such cunning and management as to avoid giving the least suspicion of our intending to usurp the prince's authority.
Wow. Wow, that is so, that is so evil. It's just so diabolical. But you get the sense of kind of like infiltrating, becoming part of a group, making it appear that they are one of us, and then turn around and flip things on his head. But it's speaking here primarily from a political perspective. The same is true religiously as well. So they infiltrate and then they turn, they become one of us, and then they depart from us. That's like the spirit of Antichrist. That's what you find in the Bible as well. Like they were not of us because they departed from us, and so on. It's the same idea. It's so sad and so diabolical. Ignatius.
Putting aside all private judgment, we should always be ready to accept this principle. I will believe that the white I see is black, if the hierarchical church so defines it.
Wow. You have no will of your own.
Princes and persons of distinction everywhere must, by all means, be so managed that we may have their ear, and that will easily secure their hearts, by which way of proceeding all persons will become our creatures, and no one will dare to give the society the least disquiet or opposition. Finally, the society must endeavor to effect this at least, that having gotten the favor and authority of princes, those who do not love them at least fear them. Paolo Sarpi, 1552 to 1623, a Venetian patriot, scholar, scientist, and church reformer. They are a public plague, and the plague of the world. From the Jesuit colleges there never is sent a pupil obedient to his father, devoted to his country, loyal to his prince. Every species of vice finds its patronage in them. There is no perjury, nor sacrilege, nor parricide, nor incest, nor rapine, nor fraud, nor treason which cannot be masked as meritorious beneath the mantle of their dispensation. Priest Antoine Arnaud, 1612 to 1694. Do you wish to excite troubles, to provoke revolution, to produce the total ruin of your country? Call in the Jesuits and build magnificent colleges for these hot-headed religionists. Suffer those audacious priests in their dictatorial and dogmatic tone to decide on affairs of state. Michelangelo Tamburini, 1648 to 1730, 14th Superior General of the Society of Jesus. See, sir, from this chamber I govern not only to Paris, but to China, not only to China, but to all the world, without anyone to know how I do it.
Wow. Wow, even China. Goodness. And in the United States, we consider China and Russia like our two top enemies. So if the Jesuits are in control of China, then you can understand why the principles of China are in opposition to the principles of the United States and some of the elements of that that's going on there. So it's crazy because they can work with the enemy and with the friends. It's just so diabolical. You're going to need the Lord to fight against this order. You can't fight against this. This is so bad unless without Jesus, you're in trouble. And this is why many, many nations had gotten rid of the Jesuits, because they understood how destructive their order was and how influential they were.
Pope Clement XIV,
Oh, yeah.
1705 to 1774.
Put to death.
Following are Pope Clement XIV's words upon signing the bull of suppression and extinction of the Jesuits. A bull is the strongest legal document a pope can issue. The suppression is accomplished. I do not repent of it, having only resolved on it after examining and weighing everything, and because I thought it necessary for the Church. If it were not done, I would do it now. But this suppression will be my death. Pope Clement XIV knew the Jesuits very well.
He was right about
and expected to die at their hands. He was correct. He was poisoned. A peasant woman was persuaded by means of a disguise to procure entrance into the Vatican and offered to the Pope a fig in which poison was concealed. Clement XIV was exceedingly fond of this fruit and ate it without hesitation. The same day, the first symptoms of severe illness were observed, and to these rapidly succeeding violent inflammation of the bowels.
Wow.
He soon became convinced that he was poisoned and remarked, "Alas, I knew they would poison me, but I did not expect to die in so slow and cruel a manner."
Mercy.
His terrible sufferings continued for several months.
Months?
When he died, the poor victim, said Comenon, of the execrable Jesuits to which the Bishop of Pistoia, Scipio di Ricci, the nephew and heir of Jesuit General Ricci, fully agreed. Pope Pius VII, the Pope who restored the Society of Jesus.
Ah, boy.
Soon after Pope Pius VII was released from Napoleon's prison in 1814, he quickly restored the Society of Jesus with the papal bull Sollicitudo Omnium Ecclesiarum. If any should again attempt to abolish it, the Society of Jesus, he would incur the indignation of Almighty God and of the holy apostles Peter and Paul. John Adams, 1735-1826, second President of the United States.
He didn't like them very much at all, man. John Adams, Abraham Lincoln, they had their issues with the Jesuits. Whew, boy.
Of America. In 1816, John Adams wrote to Thomas Jefferson, third President of the United States, regarding the restoration of the Society of Jesus. My history of the Jesuits is not eloquently written, but it is supported by unquestionable authorities, is very particular and very horrible. Their restoration is indeed a step toward darkness, cruelty, perfidy, despotism, death. I do not like the appearance of the Jesuits. If ever there were a body of men who merited eternal damnation on earth and in hell, it is this Society of Loyola's.
Wow. That's strong. Why will they say such a thing? You think this is anti-Catholic rhetoric? No, friends. No. The Catholics people are amazing people, man. This is telling you there's a system within Catholicism that is diabolical, evil, cunning, deceitful. Even Roman Catholics had issues with them. There's been Catholics who push back against them. That's how bad of a thing it's been. They will assassinate their own popes if they have to. Whew. This is why John Adams is speaking this hard. They had to deal with these men.
Shall we not have regular swarms of them here, in as many disguises as only a king of the gypsies can assume, dressed as painters, publishers, writers, and schoolmasters? If ever there was a body of men who merited eternal damnation on earth and in hell, it is this Society of Loyola's. We are compelled by our system to offer them asylum.
Wow.
Napoleon Bonaparte.
Okay, nice little hands gesture here. I see. Nice little hand gesture here. That is definitely Freemason. All right, let's move on.
1769 to 1821, Emperor of the French. The Jesuits are a military organization, not a religious order. Their chief is a general of an army, not the mere father abbot of a monastery.
Power.
And the aim of this organization is power. Power in its most despotic exercise. Absolute power, universal power, power to control the world by the volition of a single man. Jesuitism is the most absolute of despotisms, and at the same time the greatest and most enormous of abuses. The general of the Jesuits insists on being master sovereign over the sovereign. Wherever the Jesuits are admitted, they will be masters, cost what it may. Their society is by nature dictatorial, and therefore it is the irreconcilable enemy of all constituted authority. Every act, every crime, however atrocious, is a meritorious work, if committed for the interest of the Society of the Jesuits or by the order of the general. Adam Weishaupt, 1748 to 1830, a Jesuit German philosopher and founder of the Order of the Illuminati.
Yep.
The degree of power to which the representatives of the Society of Jesus had been able to attain in Bavaria was all but absolute. Members of the order were the confessors and preceptors of the electors, hence they had a direct influence upon the policies of government. The censorship of religion had fallen into their eager hands, to the extent that some of the parishes even were compelled to recognize their authority and power. To exterminate all Protestant influence and to render the Catholic establishment complete, they had taken possession of the instruments of public education. It was by Jesuits that the majority of the Bavarian colleges were founded, and by them they were controlled. By them also the secondary schools of the country were conducted.
Wow. They love the colleges. They love the schools. This is where some of the strongest controls are taken. So let's go to, I think that's Samuel, who is responsible for the Samuel Code.
Samuel Morse, 1791 to 8.
Yeah, Samuel Morse.
Samuel Morse, 1791 to 1872, American inventor of the telegraph. They are Jesuits. This society of men, after exerting their tyranny for upwards of 200 years, at length became so formidable to the world, threatening the entire subversion of all social order, that even the Pope, whose devoted subjects they are and must be by the vow of their society, was compelled to dissolve them. They had not been suppressed, however, for 50 years before the waning influence of popery and despotism required their useful labors to resist the light of democratic liberty, and the Pope, Pius VII, simultaneously with the formation of the Holy Alliance, revived the order of the Jesuits in all their houri. From their vow of unqualified submission to the sovereign pontiff, they have been appropriately called the Pope's bodyguard.
Mercy.
And do Americans need to be told what Jesuits are?
That's a big question. Do Americans need to be told what Jesuits are? Do I need to make this video?
They are a secret society, a sort of Masonic order, with super-added features of revolting odiousness, and 1,000 times more dangerous.
Mercy.
They are not merely priests or of one religious creed. They are merchants and lawyers and editors and men of any profession having no outward badge in this country by which to be recognized. They are about in all your society. They can assume any character, that of angels of light or ministers of darkness, to accomplish their one great end, the service upon which they are sent, whatever that service may be. They are all educated men, prepared and sworn to start at any moment and in any direction, and for any service, commanded by the general of their order, bound to no family, community, or country by the ordinary ties which bind men, and sold for life to the cause of the Roman pontiff. They are for the most part Jesuits, an ecclesiastical order proverbial through the world for cunning, duplicity, and total want of moral principle, an order so skilled in all the arts of deception that even in Catholic countries, in Italy itself, it became intolerable and the people required its suppression.
Mercy. 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 Let's go to Abraham Lincoln, because Abraham Lincoln had to deal with the Jesuits themselves. And there's been also another thinking that they believe some of the assassination of Abraham Lincoln might have been carried out, at least intrigue, by the Jesuits. There's a thought out there about that. Anyway.
Abraham Lincoln, 1809 to 1865, 16th President of the United States of America. This war, the American Civil War, 1860 to 1865, would never have been possible without the sinister influence of the Jesuits. We owe it to popery that we now see our land reddened with the blood of her noblest sons. Though there were great differences of opinion between the South and North on the question of slavery, neither Jeff Davis nor any one of the leading men of the Confederacy would have dared to attack the North had they not relied on the promise of the Jesuits that under the mask of democracy, the money and the arms of the Roman Catholics, even the arms of France, were at their disposal if they would attack us. The Protestants of both the North and South would surely unite to exterminate the priests and the Jesuits if they could learn how the priests and nuns and the monks which daily land on our shores under the pretext of preaching their religion are nothing else but the emissaries of the Pope, of Napoleon III, and the other despots of Europe to undermine our institutions, alienate the hearts of our people from our Constitution and our laws, destroy our schools, and prepare a reign of anarchy here as they have done in Ireland, in Mexico, in Spain, and wherever there are any people who want to be free.
You know, you can also tell what's happening in some of our educational system today and some of the confusion with our children, some of the false teachings and theories and all that woke stuff. You can trace it right back to the Jesuits. We have a study coming up this Friday. I'm bringing back Pastor Michael Mira, where he was showing there is a historical connection with that. So, Lord have mercy.
I am so glad to meet you again, he said. You see that your friends the Jesuits have not yet killed me. But they would have surely done it when I passed through the most devoted city, Baltimore, had I not defeated their plans by passing incognito a few hours before they expected me. New projects of assassination are detected almost every day, accompanied with such savage circumstances that they bring to my memory the massacre of St. Bartholomew and the gunpowder plot. We feel at their investigation that they come from the same masters in the art of murder, the Jesuits. So many plots have already been made against my life that it is a real miracle that they have all failed when we consider that the great majority of them were in the hands of skillful Roman Catholic murderers evidently trained by the Jesuits.
Whew. Whew. Yeah, it was a miracle indeed. But eventually, you know what happened. You guys know what happened. Oh man. I mean, we can go on and on. This video is potent. I'm just gonna take one more. Let's move on to the part where he mentions Ellen White. Man, this is serious business. I would say the entire thing is good, and I would encourage you to watch the entire video. He goes on and on and on and on and on. Powerful stuff.
Ellen G. White, 1827 to 1915, prolific author and American Christian pioneer. Jesuitism inspired its followers with fanaticism. There was no crime too great for them to commit, no deception too base for them to practice, no disguise too difficult for them to assume. It was a fundamental principle of the order that the end justifies the means. By this code, lying, theft, perjury, assassination were not only pardonable but commendable when they serve the interests of the Church. Under various disguises, the Jesuits worked their way into offices of state, climbing up to be the counselors of kings and shaping the policy of nations.
All right. Well, that's enough. Oh my goodness. How disturbing is that? Let me read a few quotations here. I'm not gonna say too much. We got a Bible verse and we gotta end this thing. Remember this? This is the Catholic News Agency. This was posted, we're talking about 2017, so this is a little old. But listen to the statement. To understand Pope Francis, you have to understand the Jesuits. That's why we were doing this video. You gotta understand the Jesuits. Who are they? Well, I just told you who they are. We just watched a whole video about that. Listen to this. 2014. With the first pope, Jesuits are making a comeback. I mean, that picture is disturbing enough looking at that picture. That face says a lot. That's going to be on my thumbnail, by the way. That's my thumbnail picture. Yeah, I can say a lot, but I think it's best we end this video. My Bible tells me, let's open our Bible to read what the scripture says here. There it is. 2 Corinthians 11 tells us this. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. The Jesuits, the word Jesuits is the French word for Jésus. It really is Jésus, but the English is Jesuits. It really means Jesus. They call themselves the Society of Jesus. What a blasphemy. No marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Therefore, it is no great things if his ministers also transform themselves, we are told, as ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works. Lord have mercy. I can say a lot. I think it's best to end this video. I feel a little sick just talking about this. I'm so serious. But we got to do it every now and then. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one. Bye.